Show you guys step by step how I replaced my daughter's Omnipod 5 and put a new one on her. So first I got my Unisolve, her vial of insulin, some alcohol wipes, and her pod. We're going to deactivate the old pod here. Omnipod's telling me it's expired. So we deactivate it, and once that's done, I can take it off of her. The system is all set up for us to set up a new pod. So push that button there, and Omnipod tells us so kindly what to do next, and that is to put insulin in the pod. So I open up an alcohol wipe, and I always make sure to wipe down the top of the insulin vial because you don't know what kind of dust or yuckies is on there. So I wipe that off, and then I get ready to fill the pod with the minimum amount of units. The Omnipod 5 and the Dash can hold up to 200 units of insulin. I believe the minimum amount is 80. So you have to at least put 80 units of insulin in there. And Addie just never uses all 80 units of insulin. She'll go through maybe 35, 40 units of insulin over the course of 2 or 3 days. And this is the part I always have the hardest with, because I will pull and get tons of air bubbles every single time. But I think this time I pushed those air bubbles back in, and I was able to get it the second time. So I got it the second time, and I pulled the insulin down to the minimum line. That black line, that dark black line first, is the minimum line. And I usually flick it to get the excess insulin off. But we're going to put the insulin in that little window there where the air was pointing. And it's kind of hard, but there is a middle soft section that you want to press the needle into. And then once it's in there, and you want to slowly push down the pump and slowly put the insulin in the pod. And when it has met the minimum amount, it'll beep 2 times. And that means the pod is filled and ready to go. So you put the cap back on the needle, and that part you can throw away in a sharp bin. And so we did that part. Thank you, Omnipod. And the next part is the PDM is going to communicate with the pod and basically prime it and get it ready to go on. I like to put it right on top of each other because I don't want any miscommunication. Don't want to do this again. So we're going to get as close as possible to each other so they can chit chat. So I grabbed the Unisolve to go pour some on Addie's old pod to take it off. And the new pod is done priming. So we are going to see what Omnipod tells us to do next. The next thing we're supposed to do is clean the site where the new pod will be applied. So I have to grab an alcohol wipe, and I went and wiped off Addie's arm to put the Omnipod on her arm for the new site. So I prepared the new site, and now it tells me to remove the clear plastic tab on top. Now this is kind of hard. I've always got to pull it pretty hard for me, so you got to use a little bit of force. You're not going to break it, don't worry. I was. And you can see the little window where the cannula is supposed to come out, and a couple drops of insulin sometimes splash when I click off the tab really hard. So then we take off the plastic pieces to reveal the adhesive, so I can go ahead and put that pod on Addie. So I go and find my toddler who is trying to nap in the room, and I put it on her, and then so we're going to start it, and it's going to be communicating, and then once it's inserted, it's going to ask you if it's in there correctly. I switched to automated mode because that's the mode that we like to go in. We've got the Dexcom up there, so once that connects, the pod will continue working. Do you want a cookie?
No.
Anyways, thanks for stopping by. I hope this helps somebody.